Hey everyone. Um, yeah, it didn't feel too much different from watching the film today that I felt yesterday. Guys played hard there for 60 minutes, can't find a way to win that one at the end. Number of things we can clean up, but was really happy with the intensity with which we played throughout that game. We rode the highs and the lows, and we handled that just fine. So really excited to get our players back in the building on Wednesday and get going to this next week. So I'll open it up from there.
Pat Finley.
Hey Ben, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I wanted to ask you about two fourth down throws. The first was the one at the end of the first drive there, down into the end zone to DJ, and the other was the 4th and 3, I believe it was, on with about 9 minutes left. Uh, what's the coaching point?
Can you take me through the second one again?
Uh,
Who do we throw it to?
4th and 3, you guys are empty. Caleb kind of pirouettes left, winds up throwing it a little high and behind Swift. But it looked like you had Rome on kind of Rome chipped and might have had a kind of a delayed crosser going the other way.
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Okay, where's the ball ideally supposed to go in those two situations, and kind of how do you and Caleb navigate, his improvisational skills, which are great with you being the play caller, and if there's a play there to throw it.
Yeah, we talked about I mean, we just watched the whole game together. He made a number of really good plays that we needed in the moment, and there's a handful of them that we talked about, and in hindsight, you might play them a little bit different. Same thing for me as a play caller. There's a number of calls that I probably want back. In those two particular instances, the first one. We felt like we had enough time to hang in the pocket and throw that ball to DJ without breaking contain. And it's a balancing act for him. He feels the pressure, and like I've been saying all along, he's got a natural ability to know when to escape and carry on. And that's not something that we want to take away from his game, but we are encouraging at times when we see it where we can hang in there and either get the throw down the field or check the ball down. So the one to DJ, we felt like there was some space over the top there that we might be able to throw him open into in the end zone. And then the second one is, if I remember it right, we had a number of crossers on that play, and I thought a couple guys popped. It's a play that we hit. He threw really well in practice. We felt good about, and it's probably another one that he felt like he felt the pressure, got out of it, but we could probably hang in there and deliver that ball down the field.
How do you think in general he handles the balance of kind of knowing when to hit that eject button and knowing when to hang in there?
It's a work in progress. I think the more comfortable he gets within the offense and the more trust he has in his pass catchers that they're going to be where they're supposed to be, that he'll continue to play within the rhythm and the timing of the concepts. And as we're continuing to grow and develop that trust, there will be times where he takes off and he runs with it. I mean, I thought what he did yesterday in terms of evading that rush, that's a rare quality for most quarterbacks, and I don't know many other in this league that could have done it to the extent that he did yesterday.
Courtney.
Hey Ben, on that note, I know DJ Moore said after the game he feels like Caleb, like the last 2 weeks with what happened on that final drive in Cincinnati to get in position to hit Colston, and then yesterday with the 29-yard scramble and 17-yard run. Like he said, like he feels like he's got the green light now to use his legs more. Like has there been maybe more of an emphasis, or has there been something that you're encouraging with Caleb to use his legs in those moments, whether it's evading the rush or just taking off and going into that Superman mode?
Well, we've been able to accumulate a number of reps now over the course of the season, and like I said, we sit down, we talk about every practice rep, every game rep, and so it's a different message depending on that particular rep. But something that we've been pretty consistent with, there's times that we do need to use our legs. I think it makes us a more dangerous offense overall. You can talk to Dennis Allen about it. I think nothing probably strikes fear in his heart a little bit than a quarterback that's able to take off, because you can have everything else accounted for and you can feel pretty good about your pass rush, but yet If there's an open lane, which there tends to be when you have a four-man or even a five-man rush, the quarterback can still make you hurt with his feet. And so, yeah, it's something that we certainly want to utilize. It's not something that we want to necessarily feature each and every week, but when the opportunity presents itself, we have the ability to capitalize on it.
And as far as that, like defensively, when you watched it back, did you think there were maybe more opportunities to spy Jackson Dart or to have more of a plan to contain him?
Well, we knew he's a really good player to start with. I felt like he hurt us more on the quarterback designed runs as opposed to necessarily um, him in the passing game. Now, I'm not taking anything away from him. He played a heck of a game for them and gave us some fits, but we felt like we could fit up some of those quarterback designed runs a little bit better and cleaner on our end. Um, and I think that would make us feel a little bit better about that game as a whole.
Phil?
Hello, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben. Uh, so a couple of questions for you. One, do you ever address the elephant in the room that is the prospect of the playoffs with the players, either as a carrot or just kind of relaying to them the stakes? And if you can answer that, I'll ask the next one after that.
We understand the urgency that's at hand. We know where we are in the NFC right now. But I think the biggest thing in the message to the team is we're a 6-3 team right now that's looking to get to 7-3.
Okay, and the second thing is about Luther Burden. I know he had that big play in the fourth quarter, the 27-yard reception. Can he be, or do you kind of see him as kind of a secret weapon that defenses may not have a lot of tape on him? And as he gets more acclimated to playing in the NFL, you can utilize him more.
Yeah, no, I think you've slowly seen his rep count go up. Um, he's a guy that's starting to get more targets. It's a trust level between the coaches and the player. It's a trust level between the quarterback and a receiver. It continues to ascend, and so he's been very productive when we've been able to get the ball in his hands. And there's a strong argument that we should get it to him more.
Dan?
Hey Ben, quick housekeeping question before a meteor one. What happened with Jaquan late first half when he went down and needed to be attended to?
Looked like he tweaked his back a little bit, but sounds like he's good to go.
Okay. Fourth quarter, first touchdown drive got jump started with that extended play, Caleb to Colston down the seam there. That's the play where Darnell stones Brian Burns' spin move. And then what did you see from both Darnell and Colston in completing that play?
Yeah, no, I think Darnell did a heck of a job throughout that game. Really, our entire offensive line did. Those are I said it early in the week, and I'll say it after the game as well. That you could argue that that's going to be the best defensive front that we'll face all year long. I mean, it's first rounders galore, talented pass rushers galore. They made it a mission to stop our run game. We weren't nearly as efficient running the ball yesterday as we would have liked to be. But in terms of pass protection, you look up and we had 0 sacks. I thought Caleb was certainly a big factor in negating some of those sacks, but our offensive line did a pretty solid job down in and down out. Now, I think Darnell had a couple that he'd like back as well, but overall, I was pretty pleased with his play. I've been very pleased with his play over the course of the season so far. So on that particular play, it's just a great instance of how strong he is as an individual. He caught Burns in a spin and was able to capitalize on it. So that was great. And then Colston, you talk about a heater coming at him. Caleb running to his left and absolutely flings that ball, and Colston was able to haul it in. So, like you said, it's a huge play in the moment, and certainly one that we needed to keep that drive going.
Adam?
Hey, Ben, to build off Dan's question there a little bit, when you have blocks like Darnell's, I think it's been a couple weeks now where he's putting the opposition on the ground, and Theo had his block along the sideline last week. Like, what type of energy do those blocks kind of provide you and the team behind the scenes when you show them and you discuss them?
Yeah, I think our guys appreciate it. I think offensive line play in general, it tends to get overlooked. You got a lot of ball watchers around this league as fans or even as coaches and personnel guys. You tend to overlook the trench play at times. And so we certainly have a great appreciation for what those guys bring to the table. We've invested a lot from a draft capital and a free agency standpoint of bringing those guys in. We value those guys tremendously, and so it's good to see that pay off for us. They're a huge part of what we do. Our offense doesn't really go unless they're functioning at a high level, and so yeah, really happy with where they are. I was proud to show a few clips last week of them in the running game, getting after it, finishing. I think what gets me fired up more than anything, I think of our first touchdown of the game yesterday, where when you hit pause, you have all these blue jerseys in the same frame, and we're all pushing the same direction. That to me is inspiring football.
Jason?
Hey, Ben, two questions for you. The first is a big picture question. When you think about the vision that you had for this team and how you wanted it to look and operate, what are some things you're seeing that match up with that halfway through your first season that you say, this looks like my blueprint? And what are some things that you still want to see some growth in?
Well, I think the easy answer for that is we want a team that will fight all 60 minutes. It's a group that believes in what we're doing as a coaching staff. They believe in what we have in the locker room. And that belief comes through each and every week right now. They understand that we're always in these games. And so we have a very resilient group. I think that's step number one. And then where we got to get better, and I alluded to it last night, is we got to start taking control of these games a little bit more. We got to play cleaner football, which I thought in some aspects we did. We were much better in the penalty department yesterday. We were much better red zone offense, red zone defense yesterday. But yet we take a step back in terms of catching the football. We take a step back in terms of converting on critical downs, things of that nature. And so we still haven't put that whole collective 60 minutes, three phases together yet. Yet we've seen glimpses of it throughout the season so far. And so I'm happy with the fact that we're winning games and we're finding a way to win games and the guys are believing in what we're doing. And yet we still have so far that we can still go and how much we can still accomplish as a whole team.
My other question is about your play calling. This is multiple times this season where you have volunteered that you think your play calling should have been better in a game, including earlier in this call. How are you grading yourself in that area, and why do you think it is important to be transparent about that you feel like your play calling could have been better in some situations?
Well, no, it's the first thing you look at when things aren't clicking and you don't feel like you're in a rhythm as an offense. And so I always look in the mirror. What could I, do a little bit better there? I didn't love our third down plan when I go back and I looked at it. I thought they did a really nice job defending us, and we didn't do enough to counter that, and that's on me. I got to do a better job of that. I know why I did everything in the moment, why I call things. Everything has a reason, and yet when it doesn't click the way we want it to, then I just question whether I should have done something or done something else. And so, yeah, end of the day, we're all in it together. I want those guys to understand that I take a lot of ownership in what we put on tape, as do they. And so, yeah, it's really important that they understand we're all in the same boat.
Kevin?
Hey, Ben, you talked last night about the drops that you didn't see them in practice. And I'm just curious from a coaching perspective as you enter this week, how do you handle some of those drops in terms of addressing it, not addressing it, extra practice with the judge machine, whatever it is? Like, what's your kind of strategy after a game like that?
Yeah, my strategy is, like anything, you talk about it and then you move on. You learn from it, you move on. You know, it, when my experience, and I've coached quarterbacks, I've coached receivers, I've coached tight ends on the offensive side, and you can make things worse by going overboard on some of this stuff, and that's not the intent. All those guys, they want to catch the football when it comes their way, and We acknowledge the fact that, hey, there's a few of those that we could have hauled in. We need to do that. Turn the page. Let's keep it moving. And so we're gonna be just fine.
And one quick one, Pat asked you about the fourth down calls. Just curious, in the first half, want to know a little about your decision making with the weather, the distances, they're fourth and manageable. Just like what was kind of the thought process in terms of going versus kicking in some of those. I think you had two in the first half like that.
Yeah, no, I just I felt like we were on their side of the field, and we really didn't. I think there was one punt I did that I'm like, well, shoot, man, we 25-yard punt that landed on the 11-yard line, and felt good about the distances that we had. Wish we would have connected on two more of those. If we go 3 for 4 instead of 1 for 4, I think we feel a lot better about how that game plays out. But yeah, certainly the weather plays a factor in it. You go through your pregame routine, you get a feel for how comfortable you are with the wind and things of that nature, and so that all plays a part in it.
Last question, Herb.
Coach, you kind of alluded to this in your answer to Jason a bit ago, but in your mind, and even in your message to the team, how do you kind of balance the idea of appreciating and enjoying your team's ability to be resilient and pull out some of these games late with the thought that, some of these contending teams with these games coming up may require a more complete four-quarter performance?
I think it's the best thing about us winning right now is we can come back and we can coach them hard, and we'll tell them the truth, and they know it. I mean, they're professionals. They all know that we're winning, but yet this isn't necessarily the style or the fashion that we want to hang our hat on long term. And so, um, yeah, I think we're in a really good spot with our locker room right now. Our coaching staff is doing a tremendous job. I think I got a lot of confidence on really all three phases and how we're coaching the game right now. And it's games like this that you can come in the next day or on Wednesday and coach them, and be really truthful with what you're seeing and what we need to improve on.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.